Shalom. Call Haloyam La Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahak Kodash. Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Hakodash, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahak Kodash. Shalom and double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the elder bishops and the elders in the Akim and the Akwath of the hopeful elect. And Shalom. Just want to go into a quick video entitled The Gentiles, aka the heathen, are to be ruled over, not joined with us. You know, there's the strongholds of false Christianity and false hoods of everyone is supposed to be all together and unified. So if that's the case, then how come all nations? How come there's nations and not just one people? You know, we're divided nation by nation for a reason because we're supposed to be separate from one another. Chiefly the Israelites is separate unto the Most High. So we'll get real quick the book of Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the boundaries, of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So the earth was created for us, by the Most High, and the earth is our possession to enjoy and rule it in righteousness. So rulership meaning what? Someone's in control, someone's at the top, and then they're ruling over something. They're ruling over something or someone, or people, right? So the Most High divided all nations their inheritance, their borders. That's AKA everyone's country that they are native to. But we know that the so-called white man, he keepeth not at home. He keeps not in his homeland that he was given, and he's an inhabitant of the caves. That's why they go by the name Caucasian, meaning cave dweller, right? Because they come from the caves. The land of Petra is south of Jerusalem, south of the kingdom of Judah, the southern kingdom. We're neighbors. The southern kingdom, so-called blacks, they're the neighbors to the Edomites, the so-called white race, on the east. And now we're in the neck of our enemies. As the prophecy in Genesis 49, we shall be in the neck of our enemies. Esau has now brought us over on this side and made us his, and we're slaves here now. Genesis 49 and verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Because right now the northern kingdom hates the southern kingdom, but we're awakening back into the truth, and the tribe of Judah is the head tribe. Even and at the end, the head tribe is going to receive proper respect and praise from the other 11 tribes. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. So that's us over here in captivity here in Babylon the Great. We're right in the thick of the of our enemies. In the thick of the captivity behind enemy lines. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. So just wanted to touch on that. So now we'll go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. So our people that believe that strong delusion, those lies, they will indeed, be joined hand in hand with them, but that will not stop the Most High from judging the wicked. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. So the seed of the righteous is going to be delivered. So if you joined hand in hand with the wicked, then you're, birds of a feather flock together. So you're brainwashed by the heathen, and then you're not of the righteous, but you're of the light of the wicked, because that's the ungodly Israelites that want to be joined with the heathen. But the seed of the righteous, that's the house of David, the body of 1/3 body of Yahweh Shah, And let me get this real quick in the Apocrypha. When you try to join into the heathen, that makes you ungodly. Second Maccabees, chapter 1, I think it's around verse 11. Let's see. Oh, no, First Maccabees. Let me see. First Maccabees. Yeah, right here. First Maccabees 1, chapter 1 and verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many Israelites, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. And we read that in Deuteronomy 32 and 8. Everybody's in their own boundaries, right? In their own land that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Verse 12, so this device pleased them well. You see? Okay, watch in verse 13. And when you join hand in hand, this is the wickedness that comes from it. Verse 13, then certain of the people were so forward herein, meaning what? They were self-willed in wickedness, leaning upon their own understanding and not the Most High, that told us to be separate from these heathen nations. So then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, talking about the Edomite king, the Greeks, so-called white people, so-called white man, that they went to the king who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. And that's why, they say that the laws are done away with in Christianity, and that means that they give everybody, the Israelites, license to sin, and our people love to have it that way, right? So if you join hand in hand, then you're going to receive the punishments of the wicked, because you're going to be, because we're supposed to be joined hand in hand with Yahushua, our head. So if you join hand in hand with the heathen, then y'all have the same mind. You have the same mind of the heathen and not the same mind of Yahushua, because Yahushua is the complete opposite of the heathen, right? That's why he moved in silence when he was in his ministry, because the heathen sought to kill him, beginning with Herod, right? When he was a baby, when he was a child, when he was a baby. So, it's not hard to understand and comprehend. You can't be joined hand in hand with the wicked, because they will not go unpunished. And if you're right there with them, join hand in hand, being one body with them, then you're going to be destroyed too. Simple math. Psalms 2 and 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? So the heathen, he's always in a rage. He's proud, wicked. He's not patient. He's not humble. He's not merciful. The merciful, he's merciless. The merciful shall receive mercy from the Most High. They imagine a vain thing. A vain thing is an empty thing, right? Let's get that in the translation. Let's see what that says in the NLT. Why are the nations so angry? Why do they waste their time with futile plans? You see, they come up with all these wicked devices. The same way our people come up with futile devices, like we read in First Maccabees 1 and 11, right? That that device of joining the heathen pleased them well, right? And so the heathen have their devices against the Most High. Their plans, they have futile plans against the Most High and his chosen seed, his chosen nation. Because 2/3 of our people think that, joining with them is what's going to give them blessings. You're just going to, they're going to be able to live a normal life. Just like, people that reject, that join the Israelites, awaken to the truth, and then they leave the truth and then speak against the truth as if it was something wrong with it, right? As if it was an incorrect way. That's the same spirit of the ancient wicked man of Israel. So let's see. They have imagined a vain thing. The heathen thinking that they're going to rule and be able to see, because the Most High, the plan is the Holy Scriptures. And if you're trying to come up with a plan not according to the Scriptures, then that's a vain thing. And that's what the so-called white man does. He's thinking he's going to create this digital economy and lock mankind down forever under that digital currency system, where to buy and sell, to be able, get a device in your hand to buy and sell. Psalms 49:11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. So their dwelling places, meaning all of the earth that they've colonized. They call their lands after their own names, and that's how you know that that's the colonization of the earth, because you know where they're at. They name things after their own name. Like America is named after Amerigo Vespucci, and Amerigo is the masculine form, and America is the feminine form. Just like when you have a vehicle, men name their vehicles or their possessions a female name, right? Same thing with the so-called white. That's the spirit of the Edomites. Name stuff after their own name. Name lands that they've colonized and stolen after their own names, right? And Africa is named after Leo Scipio Africanus, from and his brother Asiaticus, Asia. So that's how heavy, and deep it goes. You could do research on that and look that up yourself. So they believe that their houses are going to continue forever. That's their vain thoughts. That their houses, that their nation is going to be forever. They never thought America was going to fall, and because they had such a strong military. But this country has gotten weaker through age of the salt that they've been resting on their laurels, and this place has gotten more and more effeminate, and the women have gotten elevated over the men through the wicked agendas of the Illuminati, the wicked elites. They thought this place was going to last forever, but nope. That's the vain thoughts that the heathen do, that the heathen do have in their rage and their wickedness. Psalms 14 and verse 1. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no power. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. You see, a fool. See, Esau, he has created this culture of atheism, atheist. But he's a fool. And he says that there is no power. We exist not by our own merit, right? We were formed in the womb of our mothers, and it's a very foolish thing to think that we formed ourselves, and to say that the Most High don't exist, because we didn't compact ourselves together, right? That they are corrupt. Esau, he's the most corrupt man on earth, and they have done abominable works because they're blasphemous, profane, fornicators, right? Against the Most High power. It says, there is none that doeth good. Verse 2, the Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men. It's going to the heathen, to see if there were any that did understand and seek Yahweh. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good. No, not one. See, the heathen are all filthy, and there is not one. Remember, I believe King Solomon, he said what? He looked upon 1,000 men, in Israel, and only found one man. So we know the heathen, you won't find not one man of the heathen that's good, right? That doeth good. And of the women, and 1,000 out of 1,000 women, Solomon searched not one good woman. So it show you, very small amount of men will be righteous, and there's no good women, because the female is supposed to be guided, by the Most High, and by men in this realm. But the women have gone all aside after Satan. This feminist movement, and because it began with Eve, being beguiled by the serpent, and that's their nature, to flow into Satan and not submit, to their men. That's just the society. That's just the nature of a woman, and she's supposed to be guided and not making. That's why Esau, he knows a woman makes bad decisions. That's why he gives the woman all the power, because he wants everything destroyed. He wants society. He wants this society and earth destroyed because the women are not supposed to be making decisions because he knows that she makes bad decisions. So there's like the Willie Lynch letter. There's another letter like basically targeting. He's been trying to give the woman the power over the Israelite woman, power over the Israelite man since the time of slavery, physical slavery. Because I need to look that up. Lord willing, I can look that up and bring it out. He said that the woman she makes bad decisions. That's why he wants her to have the power so that she can make nothing but bad decisions and destroy the household and the family structure and dynamic to destroy our nation. It's been a war on that forever since we've been over here. So Psalms 14 and verse 4. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon the Lord Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. So the workers of iniquity, are the wicked elite rulers, and then everyone, he pushes all of his philosophies and false indoctrinate society, and then all the heathen, they eat up the Israelites like they eat bread, because we're sheep. Our people are simple. Like a sheep is a very harmless creature, and is very gullible. And our people are very gullible, and they get eaten up. They want to seek everybody's acceptance except the Most High and Yahweh Shai and even their own people. They look at it as that's the calling card for the wicked men of Israel, always looking after the heathen, as we just read in First Maccabees, right? That's another characteristic of the Israelites, that who are the Israelites, because no other nation seek any other nation for validation. But our people, the Israelites, so-called Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, are always looking for every other nation for validation, and then they scoff at validation and acceptance of their own people, because our people are good slaves. It's a clear sign of who the Israelites are. When you look at it with spiritual eyes and understanding of the Holy Scriptures and the characteristics of the nation of Israel, you can apply it to those people today. So Amos 7 and verse 1. Thus hath the Lord, the Most High Power, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, showed Slakia. Thus hath the Lord Yahweh, the Most High Power, showed unto me, and behold, and he formed grasshoppers in the beginning of the shooting up of the latter growth. And lo, it was the latter growth after the king's mowings. It's going to, the last crop, before at the end of the winter months, at the beginning of spring. Verse 2, and it came to pass that when they had made an end of eating the grass of the land, then I said, O Lord Yahweh, the Most High Power, forgive, I beseech thee, by whom shall Jacob arise, for he is small. See, the heathen devour Jacob. And so this was a judgment the Most High was going to send upon us. But, we are devoured, spiritually, mentally, and socially, economically, financially, politically. We're devoured, medically, academically. We have the worst of everything. And that's the heathen devouring us. They devour us at every turn. So I just want to bring that out for how the heathen are like the grasshoppers that are eating us up, the grass of the field. We're and that's the judgment from the Most High. He's allowing us to be destroyed for a season. And Malachi 3 and 6, but it's only for temporary punishment, not permanent, and not permanent destruction. So Malachi 3 and 6. For I am the Lord Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. The Most High won't change, because if he changed, then we would get consumed by the heathen, consuming and completely consumed, right? So so our people want to join into the heathen And when we do that, we're going to be consumed and be destroyed by their ways. So we're not supposed to be joined with the heathen. We're supposed to rule over them. We are never supposed to be on any equal footing. Because if we're on equal footing with the heathen, we'll be destroyed. We have to stay above them. Elevated in the spirit of Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. So Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord, the Most High Power, thy God. The Lord Yahweh, thy power, hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. See, we're supposed to be above them. We are above them, as Yahweh Shai said, I am from above, ye are from beneath. And that's the heat. We are from above. We're above them because we have the spirit of Yahweh, and that's the spirit from the heavens from above. So we got to be above them. Stay in the spirit. When you stay in the spirit of Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, you're elevated above them, above the heathen, and even two-thirds of our own people, we're above, because they want to be like the heathen and not like the Most High and Yahweh Shai. Psalms 2 and verse 2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Most High Power Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. See, the kings of the earth, the heathen nations, the heathen rulers, the heathen nations rulers, they take counsel together. They take counsel together, conspire with one another, conspiracy theory, conspiracies, to come up against us, to take us down. It's always been that way since the beginning. So they say, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us, because because we're supposed to be above them and rule over them. And during the time of, King Solomon, right? David and Solomon, we were in the kingdom. We were on top, and we was fighting those wars and overcame. And there was 40 years of peace after those. That was the aftermath of those wars during the King David era. And then King Solomon our nation had enjoyed 40 years of peace, of ruling over the earth. That shows you when the Israelites are in authority, then it's going to be nothing but peace. But the heathen, they don't want that. They want chaos and war so that they can try to rule, because that's the only way they can rule, is when it's not being righteously ran and ordered. And that's why they try to infiltrate our people and try to get them to give them license to sin after the king's commandment, as we read, so that we can stay in sin, and the Most High punish us and send the grasshopper, send the heathen nations to devour us, to punish us. That's the only way that they can, survive and make it. So from there, we'll go to Psalms 83 in verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. See, that's the United Nations. They are all together. The United Nations, because the Israelites are scattered throughout the four corners, and Israelites are scattered in every country that's represented in the United Nations Confederacy, and that's the prophecy of them. The United Nations in the Holy Scriptures right here, because we're not represented in the United Nations at all. It's the heathen nations that are represented, and then they want to lie and say that we are part of America when we're not Americans. Our nationality goes way back, stems way back thousands of years before this 500-year existence of the Americas, right? This captivity we've been in. It's pure foolishness to call yourself an American when we were not American beyond 500 years ago and further back, right? All the way back to the beginning. Who were we before we was calling ourselves these names of the West? When the West empire didn't begin until about 500 years ago, right? And really shorter than that. 1776 was when, they became officially a nation, but it was slavery for a couple hundred years before 1776, before, the Declaration of Independence, so-called. So let's see. We'll start at verse. Go to verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. See, the heathen are the enemies of the Most High. They hate the Most High and His chosen nation. And verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, the Israelites, the Most High's chosen nation, the Israelites, and consulted against thy hidden ones. And we're hidden by them, and they've consumed us in the United Nations. Verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And that's us being discontinued from our heritage for a season, that the Most High said in Jeremiah, I think it was 17 and verse 4 or 9. Verse 5. Let's see, verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. They're against the Most High and His chosen nation. The tabernacles of Edom, see, that's the so-called white race. And they're the first nation. They're the first nation, heathen nation mentioned, because they're the head of the rebellion against the Most High, and the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. They're the wicked, leading the charge against the Most High, and got all the heathen, in bed with them. The whore that sitteth upon many waters, aka nations, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek. Amalek is the little hats that stole the Judites, the tribe of Judah's identity, going by Ish. The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. So it's going to all of the heathen nations, naming all of the heathen nations, the Hamites, so-called Africans, Moabites, so-called Chinese, Ammonites, so-called Japanese, Ishmaelites, so-called Arabs. They're all in confederacy against the Israelites. So, okay, and we'll go to Psalms chapter 2 and verse 4. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord Yahweh shall have them in derision. You see, verse 3 says, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. You see, that's their plan with the United Nations. They want to do what? In Psalms 83, they wanted to make our name no more in remembrance. They want to cast our cords away and destroy us from being a nation, forever. But the Most High right here in verse 4, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord Yahweh shall have them in derision. The Most High going to laugh at them, right? He's going to have them in derision, and the word derision, to mock, deride, ridicule. So the Most High going to laugh at them and mock them, because it's a complete joke. That it's a vain thing. Their plot and their plan to come up against the Most High and then trying to erase His chosen nation. It's a joke. It's laughable, and the Most High is going to mock them in the process. Let's see. Proverbs 1 and 26. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. So they're proud right now because the Most High isn't judging the earth, but now He's starting to judge, and people are starting to mourn and starting to realize that we're in the end times. That the Bible actually might be true after all. That's what they think, right? And so the Most High is going to laugh at them in their wickedness. When they fear come from when the judgment is starting to come down. So see Psalm 2 and 5. Then shall He speak unto them in His wrath, and vex them in His sore displeasure. He's going to laugh at them, and then He's going to intensify and let the wrath of His judgments and punishments go forth. Verse 6. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. And that's His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah. Let's see. Holy hill of Zion, Psalms 110 and verse 1. The Lord Yahweh said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. You see, the heathen is the Gentiles are the enemies of the Most High and Yahushua and the Israelites. So the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou. So this is King David. King David knew he had a Lord, but he was King David. How can he have a Lord if he's the king, right? Because he's the Lord over the whole nation. But that's talking, he knew about the prophecies of Yahushua, the Messiah to come. That he knew that was his Lord to come. So Yahweh said unto my Lord Yahushua, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. Because we know that Yahushua was resurrected, right? Crucified, resurrected, and then ascended in a so-called UFO, a chariot. And then he went back to the heavens, into the spiritual realm, and sat back on the right-hand side, the right hand of Yahweh. And he's patiently waiting until when the Most High gives him the okay, the go-ahead to return to redeem the elect, the one-third elect of Israel, and bring the judgments upon the heathen and the ungodly two-third Israelites that's joined hand in hand, spiritually with the heathen. So Psalms 2 and 7. I will declare the decree. The Lord Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, hath said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. And that's when he was baptized, and then that was the prophecy right there, when he was baptized by John the Baptist, right? And then I believe a dove descended, and his voice from a chariot, from the clouds, I believe, I'm sure it was like a loud, thunderous voice from the Heavenly Father said, this is my son whom I am well pleased, right? Hear ye him. Let's see. Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. In verse 8, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance. So Yahushua has inherited all things. The sun, moon, stars, every single thing within his realm, and the heathen, to rule over. And then also the Israelites that's joined spiritually, that's joined hand in hand spiritually and, physically when he returned. Spiritually, the elect are joined hand in hand with the Yahushua, until he returns, spiritually and mentally. Until that great marriage, when the marriage of the Lamb, the bridegroom with the bride, the woman, Israel, the Israelites, the 2/3, the 1/3, the 1/3 Israelites blessed with salvation. So, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. So we're going to inherit the heathen and all the earth, because this earth is a paradise. That's what the word goes into, earth, or I believe earth. In the beginning, it goes into pleasure. It means pleasure. It goes into paradise. So we're going to have paradise, and we're going to rule. We're going to have the earth, aka paradise, forever in the kingdom of heaven, and rule over the heathen. We're going to be the heathen's ruler with Yahushua, under Yahweh, right? So let's see, Luke 12 and 32. Fear not, little flock. That's the 1/3 elect. The 1/3 sheep of Israel. For it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. So it's the Most High's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. He's got to be patient and wait. The uttermost parts, meaning the very ends of the earth, from east all the way across the entire earth to the farthest part away over here in the west. But there's going to be a desert after the thermonuclear missiles, burning up. That's why the scriptures say that doleful creatures and desert creatures are going to inhabit this area after, it's burned up by the thermonuclear fire. Because it's going to get burnt so bad, so it's going to turn into dust. It's going to be a straight desert over here. America's going to be one massive desert. Desert creatures are going to inhabit this area over here. It's going to be a perpetual example of what not to do, in the earth. For the heathen, it's going to be heathen that will be ruled over in righteousness of Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua. Let's see. So Psalms 2 and 9. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. You see, that's the heathen going to be destroyed. Chiefly the Edomites that has a stranglehold of rulership, of wicked rulership over the earth right now. Romans 9:22. Anyone that knows Romans 9 is the parable of Jacob and Esau. Romans 9:13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, that's the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians. But Esau have I hated, the so-called white race, the Edomites. The Most High loved the Israelites and hates the Edomites. And that's in the New Testament here. But for the unlearned scoffers that want to say, oh, that was in the New Testament, and that was in the Old Testament, but this is the New Testament as well. The Most High changed not, as we read in Malachi 3 and 6. So in verse 22, what if Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? You see, so they're the vessels of wrath. So, a vessel meaning like a clay vase. And that's that dashing in pieces that we just read in Psalms as well. And they're fitted for destruction, the Edomites, and everyone joined with them. Revelation 2 and 27. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. And that's the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction. And we're going to break them into pieces, even as I received of my Father. So Yahweh gave, blessed and endowed Yahweh Shai with everything within his realm, and he's going to break into he gave him that rod of iron. That rod of iron represents rulership. And so with that, he's going to break the wicked, break that to pieces, and then reestablish righteousness in the earth. So Psalms 2 and 10. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. So the 1/3 elect will be, the 144,000, the government will rule in wisdom of Yahweh's law, statutes, and commandments in the name of Yahweh Shai. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth. So we know that the earth is not being ruled in wisdom, but being ruled in foolishness. And they're not instructed by the Most High. They're instructed by Satan, the so-called white race. But the true kings are the Israelites, the ruling class Israelites, and for the kingdom of heaven, that will be that chaste virgin, for that chaste virgin that will be joined into Yahweh Shai for the rulership of the earth forever. Let's see. We get 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 2. Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? Only the saints are Israelites. So saints going into being sanctified through the commandment, the covenant of the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? You see, we're going to judge the world. If people say you can't judge me, they quoting Tupac, say only God can judge me. That's not true. The Most High has, his lesser powers that will that follow his son Yahweh Shai. And we are to rule the earth in righteousness because we have the commandments. You judge according to the law. That's why you have these wicked judges in the court and justice system, right? And they're black robes, which means, wicked, but void of light, wearing black robes. They should be wearing white robes, right? They wear black robes because that's a part of people is they have it hidden in plain sight. They judge in according to the law in the cases that the lawyers bring against them and the defendant, defend against. And he'll go ahead according to the law. They're flawed laws. They're flawed laws, right? But the true judges look at the spiritual judges, the elect, 1/3. will rule the earth and judge the earth under the spiritual laws of the Most High, in the name of Yahushua. Let's see, and if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Let's get that in the translation right quick. Translation comparison in the NLT. Don't you realize that someday we believers will judge the world, and the only believers are the Israelites, the 1/3. And since you are going to judge the world, can't you decide even these little things among yourselves? Because the Corinthians was the worst church of all the churches. That's why he has First and Second Corinthians. It was a two lengthy letters that Paul wrote to the Corinthians. The Corinthians was living. Corinth was like the capital of Greece, like the most popular area of business and trade, kind of like New York City, and like all the it was like the chief place of commerce and business and trade. And all the nations did a lot of heavy business there, and they were hot. And that was kind of like the hub, the headquarters of that Babylonian spirit of all nations coming together. And the Israelites that were scattered over there, they were heavily influenced by they were joined hand in hand with living like the heathen, and because they were suing each other in the injustice courts over there of the heathen, and Paul was like, y'all stop suing each other and going to the heathen courts to be judged by them of disputes. We're the true judges, and we can go ahead and iron out our own differences amongst one another. Because Paul was saying, if we're going to judge the heathen, why are you going to the heathen and let them judge us? Being sued. Because when you read verse 1, give me 1 second, I'm going to read the AMP version. At the very bottom down here, it says, do you not know that the saints, Yahweh's people, that's the Israelites, will one day judge the world, the heathen? The world is the Gentile heathen. If the Gentile heathen is to be judged by you, are you not competent to try trivial, insignificant, petty cases? See, because our people, this society is all petty and childish. That which is highly esteemed among men is foolishness to the Most High. So in verse 1 right here, in 1 Corinthians 6:1, dare any of you having a matter against another, go to law before the unjust, and not before the saints, the unjust or the heathen. That'll show you right there. We're going to judge the unjust. That's who Paul's referencing. We're going to judge the world, the quote unquote unjust, because they were going to the court systems of the so-called white man, just like we do so today. And not before the saints, the saints or the Israelites. That shows you two different people. The unjust and what's just, the laws of the Most High. And unjust meaning you're outside the law. That's the heathen. That's why the heathen say that the so-called white man came up with the Christianity religion, saying the laws are done away with. They're unjust. When you read the scriptures, you can see these things, in the spirit, in the name of Yahushua. Okay, so verse 3, know ye not that we shall judge angels? So that shows you, like, wait a minute, because remember John the Revelator in Revelations, John who wrote the book of Revelations. In a vision, he dropped down and worshiped the angel, and he said, see that you do it not, I'm thy fellow brother, if I'm not, if I'm roughly paraphrasing. And so we're the fallen angels. We're going to judge angels, meaning so that lets you know that we're actually we're on a level above even, the angels of the Most High. We're all angels, but we're in the fleshly bodies being punished because we went off in this realm, not in the heavens, but, when we was in this realm, we went off, we're being punished now. But we're actually on a pretty high level. We're actually angels in these fleshly bodies, suffering for a season. It was pretty heavy. So know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertain to this life? So that's a much higher, greater thing. So how much more than these petty things in this earth? So when you get the translation comparison, don't you realize that we will judge angels? So you should surely be able to resolve ordinary disputes in this life. Be able to judge petty fleshly things in this world. The fleshly things of this world is foolishness unto that which is spiritual, which is the other Most High, and the heavenly realm of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, and the angels, right? Psalms 2 and 11. Psalms 2 and 11. Serve the Lord Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai with fear and rejoice with trembling. So that's what our only objective, keep the fear of the Most High and keep His commandments. Ecclesiastes 12 and 12 through 13, and having the faith of the Lord Yahweh and Yahweh Shai and keeping the commandments in Revelations 14 and 12. And we fear the Most High by keeping His commandments. You don't fear the Most High if you're not keeping His commandments to the best of your abilities and praying for forgiveness and repenting. So for Philippians 2 and 12, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Now we have the truth and understanding. Now the walk, day-to-day battle, the spiritual warfare of the spirit versus the flesh, and Satan, devils, and demons in the carnal mind and flesh, right? So we work out our fear and trembling. I work out our salvation with fear and trembling. Now Psalms 2 and 12. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry. That means acknowledge the Son and have faith in Him. That He came, was crucified, resurrected, and ascended, and is awaiting the date appointed by Yahweh to return. Lest he be kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way, when His wrath is kindled but a little. That kindle means fire, when that fire goes forth. So if you don't kiss the Son, then you're not going to be a part of the elect, because the only way into the Heavenly Father and to be found written in the book of life is to have faith in Yahweh Shah and to believe upon Him. And that's the way into Yahweh. Blessed are all they that put their trust in Him, because He's that good shepherd that won't lead us astray, unlike the so-called white man in this wicked, filthy society, leading everybody through that wide great gate to destruction. Let's get the NLT version. Submit to Yahweh's royal Son, Yahweh Shah, or He will become angry, and you will be destroyed in the midst of all your activities, being busybodies in Satan's world and not having a care for your salvation. For His anger, and the cares of this world choke out, your zeal for the truth. For His anger flares up in an instant, but what joy for all who take refuge in Him. You get the AMP right here, AMP version. Kiss, pay respect to the Son, Yahweh Shai, so that He does not become angry and you perish in the way, for His wrath may soon be kindled and set aflame. How blessed, fortunate, prosperous, and favored by Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai are all those who take refuge in Him. You see? So we're going to take refuge in Yahweh and Yahweh Shai in the name of Yahweh Shai and the name of the Holy Spirit. And at some point, the Gentiles, the heathen, will be ruled over. We will rule over them in righteousness, not being joined with them, because we're above them and we're better than them. And it's just a fact. So look at the earth today. Are we all equal together? No, we're being ruled over by the heathen. In Satan's world, the Israelites are ruled over by the heathen. But in the kingdom of heaven and Yahweh's world of righteousness, under His Son, in the name of His Son, Yahweh Shai, right? We will rule over the heathen for eternity. So this video was edifying. The waters of the Chakdash Basham. Yahweh Shai for another video. Until next video I say, Shalom.